I'm in this beautiful part of Whitsundays with Libby, and I just really by accident come across this wonderful organisation that's doing such a great job to not just clean up our oceans and foreshores and everywhere else where we leave our rubbish, but also has a program to care for our most beautiful turtles. And Libby, thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And if you could just fill us in a little bit about the eco side of it, please.
I remember one night I was watching a documentary on 60 Minutes about plastic in the marine environment and how it's threatening our marine life. When this documentary came on, I was absolutely mortified. I could feel every cell in my body going, how mortifying, what we're doing as humans with our plastic consumption, and then it's washing out into our oceans, and our poor creatures are eating this and dying the most horrific death. The whales are dying the most horrific death, ingesting this plastic, but also our turtles. So I do remember this night, I was like mortified. I was even going to wake up my husband. For them to all be asleep, I was meant to watch this documentary. As you do, get busy. Next day you're breastfeeding, carrying on being a mum. Totally forgot about this documentary. Then we went camping 2 weeks later, and we took it was actually the Eco Barge, but not Eco Barge back then. I took it around to a place called Grimston Point. And I took my little daughter, my 2-year-old, for a walk, and I went walking over this hill to a southeast facing bay. When we walked over that hill, my daughter started playing with all this plastic, and I do remember watching that documentary. I went, thank God plastic isn't in the Whitsundays. How naive I was. That 2 weeks later, I saw my daughter playing with this plastic, and I just remember then I went, I need to do something about this. It was like a moment. It was actually a life-changing moment, big time, but I just went, I have to do something about it. There can't be plastic in the Whitsundays, and our turtles definitely cannot be ingesting this plastic. That was October 2005, so it's been a long journey. And then anyway, my husband said, well, look, we've got a barge. If you can go out there and try and find some funding to actually run this idea, go for it. It took me a long time for that to establish, so I put my own savings into it because I had this idea that from what I learned on that documentary and what I saw on that beach on Grimston Point with my daughter, I wanted to bring the community out with me and have that same impact, because I knew once they saw the plastic and where it was in the beautiful Whitsunday Islands, it would change how they were back on land. That there's no way you could pick up a piece of rubbish and accidentally throw it away anymore. They'd have to use a bin because they'd know where it would be ending up, and that's onto our beautiful iconic islands. Don't get me wrong, we've got the most beautiful islands, which I think in the world. Our tourists see the most beautiful locations, and that was what I was doing when I was a tourist charter skipper, was going to the protected bays. But where our marine debris is actually ending up is on the southeast facing bays, because what we have is a southeast trade wind with all these beautiful bays that open up to these southeast trade winds and the tides. What's in the water is hundreds and thousands of tons of plastic, but it's actually washing up into these bays. What Eco Barge does, we're variable, so we have to have the perfect tide and we have to have no wind, because then what we do is we leave Early Beach and we'll come to one of these southeast facing bays and take our wonderful 430 volunteers we've got on the register now to these bays and help clean up these impacted bays. But it has to be so calm, because you can imagine there's risk if you go into these bays with any sort of rough weather. Yeah. So we're variable on our weather, but we're doing okay. Last year we ran 54 trips, so wow. That's pretty huge.
That is unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I said, my ultimate goal was to run 3 trips a month, and I believed what we could do is get on top of this marine debris and then get a monitoring phase in place. Okay, another naive idea. But we are, I think at the end of this year, we will then be into that monitoring phase. So it's not such a huge job to go to that beach. We can now tackle more beaches in a clean-up than just doing one beach. We average around about 300 to 400 kilos each time we go out. And that's of plastic, that's of bottle tops, that's of drinking bottles. The amount of plastic is unbelievable.
So, Libby, this sounds like a really exciting project to me. And I personally find it hard to believe that we can go out fishing, we can go out snorkeling, and we can go out and just enjoy the Great Barrier Reef and the islands and everything that goes with it. And we can take all this rubbish with us, but we can't bring it home. Why is that? Why can't we bring it home? What, you know, I mean, why do we have to throw it in the ocean?
It's
Crazy, isn't it?
It's heartbreaking when you see someone's gone to a beautiful location and left their trash behind.
That's right.
Like, what's the thinking with that? You know, visitors to Whitehaven, they're there, they put a cigarette in the sand. Just like, you're admiring the view. Who's going to clean that up?
Yeah.
You know, I think it's respect for Mother Nature and our marine life not to do that. And I believe with our volunteers coming out, they'd never do that again, you know, because they can see that impact. Also, with marine debris, it's estimated 60 to 80% is coming from our stormwater drains. So those big river mouths, our stormwater drains, everything that's on the side of the road. Next time it rains, where's it going to go? It's going to wash out to sea. And out of sight, out of mind, I think, is the way we've been treating our ocean. This has got to stop. First off, fantastic plastic, like 30 seconds of use, and it's going to last in the marine environments for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, this is just a sample of what we're finding. I might put that tarp down, we can pour it out. So this is one gorgeous little volunteer, not little, one volunteer would have picked up every little bit of this rubbish, and then we pour it out, and then we count and sort it again, then we pick it up, and then we have to put it in the truck, and then we have to unload it. So this is the most manhandled rubbish in the world. So here's a sample. This would be a ship's rope. Okay, probably busted off, cut off, or washed off a deck. Polystyrene, horrific. So with polystyrene, what happens is it breaks up. But then look, it looks like beautiful fish eggs. You know, imagine this breaking up to little balls. Fish ingest that. They're going to be blocked, and there you go. Dead fish, dead turtle. This is another one, really interesting, KKK bottle. We're finding hundreds of thousands of these in the Whitsunday region, but also Haiti from Tangaroa Blue helped me know what this KKK bottle is. So it's actually a bleach bottle that's coming up from Indonesia up north. What they presume is it's killing off fish, so a bommy of coral. The fishermen are probably getting so desperate for fish now, they put it in the bommy of coral, they squeeze the bleach out, and it kills the fish. They collect the fish and they dump it. So we've got to try and track that down. And look, just on this one count, look how many bleach bottles I can find. That's one bag. There's an issue. Look at this, toothbrush. Honestly, I wish we could give her a award off. Why so many toothbrushes? Really? So there's toothbrushes. But it's everything we use on a day-to-day basis. Lighters, bottle top lids. You know, at one point someone had this in their hand, they didn't dispose of it properly, it's washed out to sea. Out of sight, out of mind. And that's not right, because then we see the turtles on the back end dying, our whales dying. It's not right, so. Yeah, thongs. Spoon. So let's call that what? If we're lucky, 2 kilos of plastic or marine debris, and we've removed 110,000 kilos of marine debris since July 2009. That's a mountain of plastic that is no longer in the marine environment, that can no longer cause any threat to our marine life.
Well, to be perfectly honest, Libby, I'm just stunned. I'm just stunned. It really does make me ashamed to be a human. Yeah. It really does. You know, to think that humans are doing this every day, and this is just a fraction of what's out there.
This is
just a fraction.
You are proof of plastic and ingestion. Shark would have come up and he would have twisted, as you can see, twisted, and he swallowed this plastic. This plastic, hopefully he spat it out, or otherwise now this bit of plastic is in that shark, and that shark is swimming around, hopefully alive, but there's no way he'd be able to pass that through. So here's direct proof of our marine life albeit our beautiful sharks as well, which we all need, eating and digesting plastic. Okay, why it might be a negative thing that our islands are trapping this much rubbish, I also see it as a positive thing. If we can continue to run 3 trips to 4 trips a month with our Whitsunday Marine Debris Removal Program, we're removing hundreds and hundreds, thousands of kilos. They're trapping it. It's almost acting as a net. These islands as a net. If we're constantly cleaning this, we're removing thousands of plastics out of the Great Barrier Reef. And if you look at a chart of the Queensland coast, our islands jut out. There's nothing stopping, you know, these islands from collecting this rubbish. So I'm seeing it as a doorstop. If we're continually running with our beautiful volunteers, we're removing that plastic, and then we're also helping to protect further north up the Great Barrier Reef. So let's get out there and let's get busy and let's clean as much rubbish as we can.
Excellent program. I
and
love
educate.
it. Libby has just explained to us about how much rubbish she and the volunteers pick up around the Whitsundays. And when I actually saw what Libby and her crew have picked up, it almost makes me feel physically sick to think that we as a species on this planet are prepared just to use our oceans, our river systems and our land just as a rubbish dump. You know, I think it's disgusting. However, the one pleasing aspect of it is that we actually do have people like Libby that have taken it upon themselves to clean up Australia, and this just makes me feel sick.
This one's for you, Libby. Compliments of Bob Irwin. No need to talk pollution, because we're only gonna talk solution. First step is take control of yourself and your own soul. If you, on me, made a mess and clean it up, that'd be the best solution to keep the world clean. Working together, living the clean dream solution. Oh, we can take control of the earth and the sky as well. Keeping the water clean, living the clean dream. Everybody's coming together.